Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the 10-star Kizuna clash against ALBER for the 9th anniversary. And in today's video, we're going to be going through our Marco teams. Once again, as always, I do like to make Marco teams for 10-star Kizuna, as in the early stages with assists, using Marco teams is like one of the best ways to farm up XP. You guys don't have to do this. I will have a team out later with like a one team versus all that doesn't use any of the batch or uses some of the batch and blah blah blah. But I know a lot of people did a lot of summons on this particular Kizuna, so a lot of people have the characters, and farming out assists isn't as prevalent in Super Boss Kizuna as it is in the regular Kizunas. I would still highly recommend doing as many assists as possible, because you want to build up the stars or the relationship with your alliance members, so that way in the later stages you get the characters to come in and give you the 1.3 times boost. So hopefully these Marco teams help you out. If they do, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. But let's take a look at the 10-star. This is the infographic. It's found over on the OPTC Twitter. Link in the description as always. Let's dive in. Alright, so here we go against the strength variation. Free Spirit Slashers get their cooldowns. On stage 1, you come up against Hawkins and 2 Grifters, who are going to give you the cooldowns, and then after one turn, they will just run away, so they'll just retreat. We're unsure if they do anything, but from the infographic and the information we can see, they don't actually do anything at all here. They just run away. On stage 2, the Grifters come back, which will also retreat after one turn as well. You get 5 turns of Special Bind and a full board of unfavorable slots. Again, when unsure if they do anything, they might just attack and then run away. But if they do, if they don't do anything, then a lot of teams are basically just going to pass the turn here. So that could be up your alley as well. On the final stage, there's 98 turns of full immunity, 10% damage reduction. So you take a 10% HP cut. 8 turns of despair, so 5 after sockets. 5 turns of paralysis. A tandem orb barrier for 1 time. That is for 2 turns. And then you get, after level 31, an extra turn of despair, extra turn of paralysis. And the enemy could either turn into a dex or stay as a strength type, which is very, very annoying. The fact that you have to build for like 2 colors, it's very, very obnoxious, and it's very, very annoying. So the team looks like this, as you guys can see on screen. It uses obviously double Marco as captain. Marco doesn't get cooldowns for any of these fights, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Ideally, we're going to pop Marco's special on the final turn, which we should get the cooldowns for. We can use the super class on turn 1. That's going to give the auto trigger on turn 2, so that's a bunch of cooldowns there. Luffy gives cooldowns, Law gives cooldowns, Nami gives cooldowns, we get cooldowns from the ship, we get cooldowns from our sockets. We're in pretty good stead when it comes to the cooldowns, because everyone else on the team actually gets special charge from the first stage. So Marco should get his special back at the final stage. We're going to pop that super class turn 1, so that way you get the auto trigger turn 2, and then the chain boost on turn 3. Now, if you don't have to kill turn 2. We're just going to pass the turn. It's just going to pass it. So then Robin, when she removes the special blind, will also give you color affinity to fighters and free spirits, I think it is. So on stage 2, if they actually are super annoying and they do something instead of just running away, we're just going to use Robin there to remove the special blind. The despair on the final stage, we have a bunch of supports to get around. Whitebeard, Rayleigh, and Corazon will take care of all of that. Law can remove more despair as well. He removes 2 turns of it. But the big upside to using Law here is that, he can just use the Corazon support, plus he gives cooldowns. He also has type advantage if the enemy does change to a dex type. But with this as well, because he does that, you could actually use the support of Rakuyo. So that's an extra turn of cooldown for your Marco if you don't have your Marco limit break expanded. To get around the paralysis, we have the combination of Nami and Barto. However, Rayleigh and Corazon, they're going to take care of that as well. So you will be in very, very good stead there. We have color affinity with Vivi if you don't have Robin to activate there. And we do have type advantage across the board for the strength variation or the dex variation. Luffy gives us tandem orbs. He's going to actually have his super tandem as well. Or actually, no, he's not, because we don't have a Sanji or a Zoro, which is a bit of a shame. You could probably replace Nami on this team with a Shura Zoro if you guys don't have Nami. However, we do have the Nami Super Tandem, so you could definitely use the Nami Super Tandem. We don't have any conditional boosts here, but that's going to be okay. With full immunity, it's a little bit hard to get that. Another thing to note is there's only 98 turns of full immunity, so look, these 10 stars, they might be zombiable. Moving on to the second fight, we come up against the quick variation of ALBER. Strength, Dex and quick characters get their cooldowns from Apu, who retreats after one turn. Same with the 2 grifters that come along with him. On stage 2, it's 2 grifters again, and again, they retreat after one turn, so again, you might not have to deal with these shenanigans. You could probably just move into the next stage. You do get 8 turns of bind, which will go to 5 turns after sockets. A full board of recovery orbs, which will be treated as unfavorable for 4 turns. On the final stage, the enemy has full immunity except for defense down. The boss will attack every 2 turns, so you can burst for 2 turns here because there is a damage limiter. Everyone's favorite mechanic, damage limiter. Yay! Zoro, yay! You can only do 50% on the first turn and 50% on the second turn. As we can see here, there doesn't seem to be anything that happens after the first turn, but look, they do tend to leave stuff out with these infographics, so we'll have to wait and see, and this team might be subject to change. 5 turns of defense up, 5 turns of resilience, which will become 6 turns after level 31 for both defense up and resilience. So, double Marco, once again, we are rocking a pretty fighter-centric team. I did include Sanji on this particular team, because we have a lot of free spirits, and that actually helps us out quite a bit. Dex and Quick get their cooldowns. Marco gets a lot of cooldowns as well. With Luffy once again on this particular team. You could even use Garp as well to give cooldowns. However, Garp's a bit of a funny one because you can only use 2 specials after that. But the idea here is on stage 2, we're going to use Morgans to remove the bind with the combination of Rayleigh. Plus, Morgans has double special, so he can remove 4 turns of it, and he rotates orbs as well, which is a lot of fun. However, it is going to be a little bit annoying on the final stage because you do have to use specials in particular order. On the final stage, Sanji gets around the defense up. You can only do 50% of the HP, remember that. So, using the Luffy special and using the Marco special are going to be the keys here in what order you actually use them. So, popping the superclass of Marco turn 1, then you activate the Marco special turn 2, and then you move into the final stage, and you have the chain boost, and then you activate Marco special. Marco gives you 2 turns of an attack boost as well, so that's always fun for the 2-turn burst. And then you can get the carryover of the chain boost once again. Sanji becoming captain is going to give you superclass as well. You get healing. Luffy then gives you tandem orbs after you use Sanji. And with this particular team, you don't have a super tandem, unfortunately. So that's kind of sucky. But to get around the resilience, we are using Garp. Garp has the Suru support, so he does end of turn damage. He also gives chain boosting as well, which is a lot of fun. But any Garp that can use Suru or Sengoku will work fine here. Like, it's not a worry whatsoever. You could just use, like, a quick Sengoku that just gives you an orb boost. There's actually, the rare recruit quick Sengoku. This one here, if we go, like, this, because he's a fighter character. This one. And he actually gives you an orb boost as well. Oh, actually, no, I don't think he does, because you don't have a bunch of quick and side characters. He doesn't. But look, you could definitely use him with the Suru support. Basically, the whole idea is just to get around the resilience. But a character that can remove resilience would also work fine here. So that's the quick fight. Let's move on to the final fight now. Against Sai, and this one is incredibly annoying. Free spirit-driven characters get your cooldowns. X-Drake and the Grifters do the same thing. They come in, they give you the cooldowns, they retreat after 1 turn. And then on stage 2, there's 2 Grifters that give you 8 turns of despair, 5 turns after sockets. Full board of block orbs, and will retreat after 1 turn. Again, we're not sure if this means that, like, the enemy just retreats, and then you can just pass the turn. And if you can, it makes these fights actually a lot easier, because you can use specials on the final turn. Now, I've gone in with the assumption that they do something, and the infographics left it out, but, like, these teams will be subject to change once the Kizuna comes out. Remember, team building before the Kizuna, just with the infographic, it helps, but obviously things change so drastically once the event comes out. Just like Treasure Map, just like Blitz Battle, like all those events, these always tend to change. So, on the final stage, there's 5 turns of paralysis. There's a 2-turn, 1-0 barrier for 1 1-0 slot. Very annoying. You get type slots turn into paralysis slots, and then after level 31, you get 1 extra turn of paralysis, and type slots become super block. Now, I'm not sure if that means that the super block will overwrite the paralysis, because, like, paralysis slots can't be overwritten, and if you pass the turn, you have block slots anyway. Like, why does it matter? You can just rotate block slots. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what actually happens when that content actually drops. If you don't have full HP as well, and remember, when you get despaired, you lose HP. If you don't have full HP, the enemy is going to put up an Intimidate for an attack boost, a type effect boost, or an addition chain multiply boost at -1 turn for 4 turns. Intimidation, type change, barriers, and damage limiter. Like, what are they thinking when it comes to this super boss, man? This is the 10-star. Like, wait till you see this, what the super boss does. Like, what are they thinking? This is anniversary, for crying out loud. But this is the team that we have put together. To get around the Despair on stage 2, we have a combination of Lafitte on Blackbeard and Whitebeard. And then we're going to pop the Straw Hat Crew special to give ourselves a full board of Rainbow slots. And we're going to lock those Rainbow slots with the Iceberg support. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, you could easily activate the superclass of Marco turn 1. And then on the second turn, when you get the attack buff, you get the clock buff as well. So then you're not going to have to worry about that Iceberg support at all, which is actually really, really interesting. I'm just realizing that right now. So you actually don't need that Iceberg support. So you can use like Rayleigh or something like that. That could definitely work. But the idea here is that you want to rotate the block orbs and you want to lock them. Like that's the whole premise of utilizing the Straw Hat Crew special here. I'm just going to put stat support there, and that's going to be subject to change. On the final stage, to get around the paralysis, you got to go around 6 turns. We have Kizuna Shanks. Kizuna Shanks is great because he's a chain boundary unit as well. And then we're going to not really worry about the attack boost because Marco gives us a 2-turn. And then because we have an attack boost, Blackbeard's going to become our orb booster. On top of that, Blackbeard actually removes 2 turns of barriers. This is the treasure map Blackbeard that just came out. So he can actually just remove the barriers. We don't have to worry about 1-0 slots. And like that's going to work out super hunky-dory. We're going to have rainbow slots, so we don't have to worry about super block. We don't have to worry about the paralysis orbs. And then finally, we have Bon Clay. Bon Clay is literally here as a base stat booster and can turn into a fighter into unit. That's literally the only reason he's here. Like, you can use anyone else. Just color affinity gets nerfed, which is very, very annoying. But you could probably use like a 2-turn color affinity booster. There is Robin if you don't have Straw Hat Crew and you want to bring someone else there. If you want to swap out Luffy for like Sai Yamato and then use someone else instead of like Shanks, that's definitely an option for you guys too. But they're the Marco teams. Hopefully they help you guys out if you're looking for some XP farming. I like to use them, especially day 1 when I'm building up my alliance ranks, because the XP you get from the 10-star through assists is very, very good. It's very, very strong, and it's an easy way to farm XP without actively seeking the game. Don't get me wrong, it's not the best way. Obviously, like, GPU is better, but look, 2 birds with 1 stone, and hopefully they help you out. If you enjoyed the video, though, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's